Hi, I'm Tony Phillips. I'm the founder of Cloud Design Box, and we specialise in helping organisations get the most out of Microsoft Teams and SharePoint. And in today's example, I wanted to look at Copilot and how you can use it in Word, Excel and PowerPoint. So when it comes to making brand new documents, maybe you need to create first draft of a safety policy or maybe a risk assessment. And just getting started can be quite difficult. And getting the wording right, it can be very time consuming. So you might spend hours and hours making these documents. Now, Copilot isn't going to replace humans, but it is a tool to help you be more efficient and do these tasks quicker and to a better standard, better quality. So we're going to take a look at a couple of examples about how you can do that in the different Microsoft Office applications. And the first one we're going to look at is Microsoft Word. So we're going to look at how you can create new drafts of documents, how you can reword different sentences and paragraphs for different audiences or maybe for different clarity. And all of these really are about saving you time working on these resources that you're going to share with other people. So let's jump into the Microsoft Word example. So in this example, I'm going to go over to our engineering team, into the general channel, and I'm going to create a brand new Word document in here. Now, if you've got the Copilot license, you'll see this prompt appear at the top, but Microsoft are going to be bringing some of these features into your regular licenses as well. It won't be able to access your internal data like the add content button. So we're going to ask it to draft a safety policy. Now, the more information you put into this prompt, the better the starting point you'll get for your document. So this is a fairly short, brief request to create a policy document. We've asked it to include sections on PPE, accident reporting, machine maintenance and hazardous material handling. Now, I'll set that off, generating that document. We could have went into a lot more detail about the things we need to cover. So again, this is going to give us a very generic document. And we can ask it to change this, we can decide to keep it, and you'll see it's structured out that document, and we'll still need to go in there and we'll still need to update it. Now, when I'm looking at these documents, I might say, actually, some of this doesn't make sense to the end user or the audience that's going to be reading this. So, for example, I might think, actually, this is a bit of a tricky sentence for maybe some of the people working on the shop floor to really understand what this means. So I can tailor this to the audience. So what I can do is I can just select that sentence I want to update, click the Draft with Copilot button, and I'm going to give it some instructions, reword this in plain language so it's easier for shop floor staff to understand. So it's going to go and try and reword that, make it easier to understand. So it's saying, before doing any maintenance, always make sure the machine is fully switched off and cannot be turned on by accident. Use lockout and tag out steps as shown in your training. So if this helps, then I might say, actually, I'm going to replace that sentence there. So we can use Copilot to help us draft these documents. It's not going to make the final document for you, but it is going to help you structure them out, pick the right words in the right places, and just be that really clever assistant that's sitting next to you that can tell you the right things to put really quickly as well. So it's there to help streamline the document creation process. Now let's go back and let's try another example. So I'm going to create another new Word document, but this time I'm going to give it a bit more detail. So I'm going to ask Copilot to create a risk assessment template in Word for a handheld circular saw used in a workshop. But this time I'm asking it to structure the document according to UK Health and Safety Executive Best Practice, referencing different ISO procedures as well. And I've gone into a bit more detail about the bits that we need to see inside that document. So again, this is going to create the document. Again, it's not going to be the final finished article. We still need a human to check over it and to make changes to it, but it's going to structure that document and give us a great starting point. So we've got something to work with. One of the problems, when you're working in any industry is if you've got a document to write and you've got a blank piece of paper, it can be really difficult to get started. And this helps me get started. It might not be the finished article, but it's there as a tool to help us. You can see that it's created the risk assessment form, and it's made it, in accordance with the best practices of those different requirements. So that's a couple of examples of how you can use Copilot in Word to help speed up that document creation process. So the next two examples, we'll look at Excel and PowerPoint. So again, a bit like the previous example, this isn't going to create the finished article for you, but it's there to help you draft up and create that first initial draft and structure of these presentations. It's going to help me in Excel create maybe formulas that might have taken me quite a while to think about and to test out and get right. It's going to help shortcut that time. But again, we still need that knowledge, that human knowledge, to make sure it's showing us the right information. So I'm going to go into this Excel spreadsheet that we've already got. It's called Manufacturing Product Data. And what you'll see is I've got a list of widgets, the product, the production line, the defects, downtime in here. And I can open up Copilot on this right-hand panel, and I can ask it questions about this data. So I might use it to ask me how to create a formula to figure something out, and I often use it like that. But we can ask it questions about the data itself. So which product has the most defects this month? And it's going to look through that document. It's going to create its own formulas in the background to basically group together all those widgets, sum them up, and tell me which widget has the most defects this month. And we can see it's thought about it, and it's come back with widget B, 223 defects this month, more than any other product during that time. So again, it's just giving me a really quick answer to something that might have taken me a bit of time to calculate and figure out and create the formulas for. And I can also visualize this as well, so I can use it as a shortcut way to visualize things, so creating a chart of it. So show me a chart of total production versus defects for each product. And what you'll see it do is in a minute it will select that data, you'll see it highlight it, and it's going to create a table, a chart based on that data. So it's analysing that data, and it's going to come back, it's created a chart for me. And what I can do, if that looks right, if that's something that I want to use in my spreadsheet, I can always add it into a new sheet, and it'll create a new sheet, and it'll put in that table it's calculated and the chart that it's created as well. So just a couple of ways that you could potentially use Copilot inside Excel. So let's create a new PowerPoint presentation. And in this example, while that's loading, I'm just going to show you this monthly report that we've created. Now, in real life, this might be a really long document, lots of information in it. In my example, it's fairly short. It's one sheet of paper. But I need to present that, and I might need to present it to the rest of the staff. It might be to board of directors. It could be any sort of audience. And if I want to present that document, I've got to do quite a bit of work putting together a presentation. So one of the features with Copilot is we can create a new presentation from a file. So if I look down here, I've got that monthly production summary report, and I can ask it to create a presentation based on that. So I'm going to ask it to create a 3-slide summary presentation from that Word report. And remember, the more information I give it, the better the result. This is quite brief, so I'm expecting just really a basic PowerPoint presentation summarising what was in that particular report. We'll have another go at this in a minute and make it a bit more detailed and see if we can change the contents of that PowerPoint presentation. So it's gone away, it started to generate the slides, so it's reading that document, it's finding the key points from it, and it's going to create that document. You see it's got a intro sort of title slide and a conclusion slide, but it's giving me the 3 slides that I've asked for. And it's going to apply a design to it, and I can see, yeah, it's created some slides here that I can then present to other people. It's actually also put in some images as well, some Photostock images that it thinks are relevant, which are quite good. I can always obviously come in and change this. It's just a starting point. It's not meant to be the finished article. It's there to save me time. So if I try that again, I'm going to just try that again with the same file. So I'm going to choose that monthly production report, but this time I'm going to ask it to create it for a different audience. So I'm going to say create a 3-slide summary presentation based on that report, summarize this in simpler language for non-technical staff in the slides, and make it high level for a board presentation. So we might have some really complicated information in that report, but actually want to summarize it so it's clear from a business perspective what we're talking about. So this is going to generate the slideshow again, but using those instructions. And again, it may not be perfect. Every time you do this, it's going to give you something different. It's never going to be exactly the same. So again, you're the human, you're there to quality control this and make it your own. But the idea is you're not starting from scratch. We've cut out a whole load of work of building out that PowerPoint. So let's see what this looks like. It's created the slides for us. We can see the output trends on here when that loads up. And hopefully it's just given us better language to use with that particular audience. So you can see here it's talking about preventative measures, different defect rates. So again, hopefully that's created it and maybe a bit more usable format. I can always go back and make changes if I want to. And obviously Copilot can assist you as you go along in other aspects of PowerPoint. But that's how you get started with documents, how you can create that document creation process a lot easier, a lot more streamlined. At Cloud Design Box, we create beautiful, scalable, secure intranets that as your company grows with you. And we base these on communication sites where you can publish information to wide audiences across your organization, and team sites where people work together in secure teams. We help you plan out the structure, set it all up, and train your staff so you can make the most out of Microsoft Teams and SharePoint. If you're interested, feel free to get in touch. If you like the videos, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.